Hey, it's Bex from Positively Together, and we're in the middle of a series of 2-Minute Tuesdays on cues and cue responses. So we've talked about some reasons why the horse might not respond to a cue and what you should do in that scenario. If your horse is not understanding the cue, one really simple solution is stop giving the cue. Go right back to the beginning, shape that behaviour fresh, which will take often only a matter of minutes, and then pop the cue back on again. If your cue has proven to be unclear, indistinct, overlapping or being overshadowed by another cue, or causing anxiety or emotional conflict, so perhaps the cue you're giving has been associated in that horse's past with escalating pressure that makes the horse anxious, very simple process to change the cue. So the first step would be to remove the cue and reshape the behaviour, and the next step would be to add the cue back on again. And whether it's the same cue you were using or whether it's a brand new one, the process is the same. We just want to associate the behaviour with the cue. And remember, we're teaching, we're not testing. So don't go giving the cue too quickly. In the early stages, we give the cue when we are very sure that that horse is going to respond to, by giving us the behaviour that we're after. We don't want to be gambling on this. We want the association to be 100%. And then after there's been enough repetition that you're seeing some really fluent responses, then you can begin to pause in between to reinforce that horse for breathe and be, for just pausing and being calm next to you, and then give the cue again and begin to pair up and proof it by testing it in different scenarios, different days, different environments, that kind of thing. So that's how we can resolve the issue if the problem, in fact, the reason why he's not responding to the cue is because he simply doesn't understand what it is you're asking for. The cue is not as strong as we perhaps thought it was. No big deal. Don't be afraid to drop that cue off again. Go straight back to just clean loops, clean up the behaviour to the degree that you want it to be, pop a label back on it. If that label's not reliable, pull it off. There's no harm in doing that, and it's quite a quick process. And once you and your horse are really familiar and comfortable with the process of popping cues on and of changing cues, it's not a big deal. It's not a difficult process to do. You just need to understand how the stages work and not rush through it too quickly, not expect too much.